Alrighty, we are live. Hello and welcome back to the 5th episode of Chiefsman's Corner Live. I'm your host, one of the commissioners of the WFL, Coach Winuvas of the New Orleans Saints. Our game plan tonight is going to be to talk WFL playoff pictures as we hit Week 15. We'll go a little more in depth with some of the top seeds in the AFC and the NFC. Reviewing the changes in the top 7 in the AFC and NFC as well. Before we do any WFL playoff talk, though, we'll do a quick bit of housekeeping. Actually, it's a little bit slower than normal tonight. We do have a lot to go over as far as our housekeeping notes. Hopefully, we do have some listeners that tune in live. If so, welcome aboard and thanks for listening. You can comment in YouTube chat, and I'll have it pulled up on the broadcast to see and respond to on the show. How you doing tonight, Smash? You can comment in YouTube chat, like I just said. If you're watching the recording of this, thank you for watching. We do appreciate the support. The first thing I want to talk about, like I talk about at the beginning of every podcast, at least for the first couple, just to kind of make sure everybody's tuned in on it, is WFL's incentive plan. This plan allows you to get some perks that aren't available for every member simply by doing some extracurricular activities that involve the WFL. Anything from organizing a team Twitter account to articles on our Neon Sports site we use for third-party stats to commenting or participating in the show. Anything that makes WFL a more immersive experience and increases its presence in the Madden community can earn you some sort of credit. Link to the incentive plan, as always, will be provided in the description below this article, and it is also available using CouchBot commands. The second thing I want to bring to your attention, again, is our end-of-season survey. We are nearing the end of the season. We'll be finishing up Week 14, I believe, tomorrow, if not earlier, depending on games scheduled. With the end of the season coming up, I want to make sure we keep mentioning it because it is important to league stability going forward, because every season we have a survey that we ask owners to fill out. It is voluntary, but you do get incentive points as a reward for filling out the survey. I am the only one that reads any feedback given, and I respond to every survey in Discord via DM to you to make sure that you know that it was read. I want to make sure that your opinion is heard every season, even if your opinion is not favorable to WFL. My job is to make the WFL the best league it can be, and sometimes that means having tough conversations about the WFL. But overall, the survey is a good thing for everyone in the league because it does mean that your feedback does matter. The third thing, a new thing to mention, is that we are starting to fire up our WFL Associated Press and getting them ready to vote on various awards to earn players valuable points that they can spend to improve their players in the next off season. Be sure to talk your players up in chat so the Associated Press sees who to look out for various awards. Talk your players up. The last thing to talk about before WFL playoff chit chat is a new form I just created tonight. It's called Ask the Chief. You can use this form during the week between episodes to submit any questions you have for me, and I'll be glad to try and answer them during the show, giving you credit for the question. It's a nice, easy way to build up incentive points and provide extra content for the podcast while we try and figure out our format going forward. Use the command Ask the Chief, all one word, to pull up the form in Discord, and you can use that in any channel. Now that we have those housekeeping notes out of the way, let's talk WFL playoffs, and if you'll give me just a second here, I'm going to pop it up here on the board so everybody can see what we're talking about here. Alrighty, see, we got a couple of folks looking. I've got my phone fired up, so I'm kind of monitoring it on my phone, the chat that is. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth than we did last week. Last week I just kind of went over the top 7 and didn't really dig into a whole lot of why teams are where they are. So at least with a few of these teams, the AFC is going to be a little tougher, so I'll probably just stick to the NFC to start, and we'll come back to the AFC. In the NFC, you have the Washington football team / Commanders that are 12-1 on the season so far. Coach Waffle has this team playing very, very good football right now. And it all leads down to Mr. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, 300 passes, 186 completions, almost 2,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, and only 14 interceptions. that is a heck of a effort there for Carson Wentz, and it's kind of a funny thing because picked him up in free agency in our league, and in real life, the Washington Commanders traded for him from the Indianapolis Colts. So a little case of art imitating life. I'm sure the Commanders fans hope that Carson Wentz is that good in real life as he is in the video game, at least in this particular season with Coach Waffle behind the helm there. Antonio Gibson and converted wide receiver T.Y. Hilton are the main ball carriers in the rushing game. Antonio Gibson has nearly 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns on the year. T.Y. Hilton, a nice change of pace style back with some excellent hands, obviously, with his wide receiver background. Only 231 yards on the ground, but great hands. Receiving wise, spreads the ball out a pretty decent bit. You got Terry McLaurin leading the team in yards with 492 yards and 5 touchdowns, but he has 3 guys that are over 400 plus yards as far as receiving. Devontae Adams, his big free agency splash during the offseason. How you doing, Meek Boy? I see you jumped in there. Our Packers owner. You're going to get talked about here in just a minute, bud. Logan Thomas, tight end, 32 catches on the year. Leads the team in catches, it looks like. But a nice diversified attack there. You can kind of see he's got a good split here amongst his wide receivers and tight ends. Not any one person catches the ball, so a nice balanced, hard to gauge attack there on offense from Coach Waffle. On defense, we flip over and you see his leading tacklers, Xavier Woods at free safety, Cole Holcomb at outside linebacker. Xavier Woods also got 5 interceptions. You can see Kendall Fuller and Cameron Curl have 7 interceptions each. So you can see definitely a turnover machine here in Washington. Sacks wise, you have Montez Sweat with 8. You have Chase Young with 7.5. You have Jonathan Allen with 5. You have Deron Payne with 4. Pressure from the front 4 makes life so much easier for your back 7 whenever you can get pressure from the edge with Sweat and Young, and even from the interior with Allen and Payne. It makes your back 7's life a whole lot easier as far as getting turnovers, which apparently the Redskins are. Oh, I said Redskins. The Commanders. It's not Redskins anymore. The Commanders do in bunches. You got Kyler Gordon. You've got Kendall Fuller. You've got Cameron Curl. Each have 7 picks. Xavier Woods there with 5. So your starting secondary basically is responsible for 26 turnovers. That is pretty huge and a real solid reason as to why the Washington Commanders are the number 1 seed currently in the entire league and the number 1 seed in the NFC for sure. Next up in the NFC, we have the Green Bay Packers and Coach Meek Boy. I told you I was going to talk about you. You're sitting there in the chat. You said hello, and now I get to talk about your team. The Packers are a beast mode team with Aaron Rodgers still at the helm. Jordan Love, not yet, young man. You're not getting the chance just yet. Aaron Rodgers, 196 at 273, almost 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. Running game is dominated by Aaron Jones, who has just under 900 yards and 5 touchdowns, but you can clearly see A.J. Dillon is his short-range specialist. 80 carries, 411 yards, but 11 touchdowns. Got to be the goal line guy there in Green Bay. That's a good, solid 1-2 punch there in the run game. In the passing game, you see Isaiah Likely leading the squad as far as yardage with almost 800 yards on 47 catches and 5 touchdowns. Braxton Berrios and Marquez Valdez-Scantling bringing up 2nd and 3rd place in the yardage mark category. Berrios with nearly 700 out of a slot-based role, and Scantling almost 600 out of a edge or a flanker-based attack there. Each of them have 7 touchdowns on the year. So you can see where Rodgers goes to. If he doesn't hit Scantling, Berrios, or Likely, it's likely he's not going to be scoring a whole lot of points. Crazy that the Bears and Packers haven't played yet. Yeah, and they're going to play 2 times in the next 5 weeks. So that could very well be an interesting matchup in the division because Smash is a very solid defensive guy, and it looks like from the looks of things that Meek Boy is a pretty solid offensive guy, balanced guy looks like. But we'll see what his defense looks like now And on defense, his leading tackler is middle linebacker Ty Summers at 54 tackles on the year. Adrian Amos in the top 4 there with 30 tackles but 6 interceptions. That's mainly what I was looking at there. So I'm guessing, just like with the Commanders, a lot of turnovers here for the Packers. Sacks-wise, again, you see Kenny Clark with 6, R.J. McIntosh with 5. So that front 3, I'm not sure if Meat Boy runs a 3-4 or a 4-3. But you've got some pressure there from your 2 of your front defensive linemen. You got Rashawn Gary, Zadarius Smith. Not a whole lot of sacks here to be had. Not near as many as what you saw in Washington. But that's not necessarily the means to an end. Basically, just play good, solid defense. And it looks like here is where the fun lies as far as interceptions. You have Razul Douglas, 6 interceptions. Adrian Amos, 6 interceptions. Eric Stokes, 5 interceptions. Savage with 3. So not a ton of turnovers, not near as many as what we saw in Green Bay, but still enough to get you by and enough to get you to a 10-win season with plenty of games left to play and a comfortable number 2 seed in the NFC. The rest of it's kind of a logjam right now. You have currently Atlanta leading as the leaders of the NFC South at 7-5. You have the San Francisco 49ers, who just recently had an ownership change. We had that dude step aside and actually, wow, I thought he was assigned to. I know we have an owner for that team, and I feel bad that I don't remember the guy's name right offhand. He just joined us. Let me pop up my Discord chat real quick. Nick M2127. He's a buddy of Juke's. I know I thought I had signed him to the 49ers, but I guess maybe not. Anyway, the 49ers are comfortably in a 4 spot in the NFC West. And then I'm going to open up this one because you got Coach Cly and the New York Football Giants sitting there at 8-4, which, if they didn't have those pesky other divisions, he would be a 3 seed. But unfortunately, he's relegated to that first wild card because of the Washington Commanders being so dominant there in the NFC East. But the Giants are nothing to sleep on either. Rookie Carson Strong, 178, 311, nearly 2,800 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, but 22 interceptions. So Cly is prone to throw into coverage. Rookie mistakes will hurt you from time to time. It might explain the 4 losses there, but still very solid squad. Rashad White, 171 attempts, 670 yards. He's got a nice balanced attack here. Kine Nwangwu, boy, I'm going to butcher that name, 233 yards. Tyler Badie, 213 yards. 6 touchdowns for White and 4 for the rest. And then Puka Williams Jr., I know he was happy to pick him up off the waiver wire, convert him, I believe, from wide receiver to halfback. Receiving-wise, nice balance setup. You got Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Kenny Golladay, all getting love there. Caden Smith at tight end getting some love. Nice spread-out attack here. No one real true weapon. How you doing, Blackhawk and Maniac? Welcome aboard. I see you there in the chat. And Golladay has the lead in touchdowns with 6. Caden Smith at tight end 5, and then Slayton and Shepard each have 4 for the Giants offense. Nice, again, like I've said about the other 2 teams I've pinpointed in the NFC so far, nice balanced offense so far. And then on defense, you got C.J. Mosley leading the team in tackles, and you have Xavier McKinney. This is the number I saw right off the top, 10 interceptions. That's going to be ridiculous. And then Derek Stingley with 6. So I know what the Giants are good at. I know for sure. Rushing the passer is not one of those things, though. O'Shane Zimenez has 6 sacks, but the next person is middle linebacker C.J. Mosley with 3.5. Leonard Williams kind of being disappointing there at defensive end. More of a 3-4 technique style, I guess, defensive end. Only 3 sacks on the year, so not a lot of pressure there as far as sacks go, but I'm sure they get a lot of pressure because you have Xavier McKinney, which if that's not near the lead in interceptions for the league, it should be close. I may have put Budda Baker in there with his 3 interception performance against my Saints this week, but McKinney is going to be near the top. Adoree Jackson, Darnay Holmes, Derek Stingley each have 6. So kind of like with the Commanders, very opportunistic defense here in New York for the football Giants. And they own the 5 seed. Then we have Chicago and Smash holding firm at number 6. Going to be tough to catch the Packers unless you can win those 2 games and maybe make up some ground that way. But right now you're kind of sitting in a wild card spot there, Smash. And then finally in the back end you have the Debt Fan 1984 and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-6. And on the bubble, you have the Rams at 6-6, who are going to pick up a win this week against the Cowboys. You have Arizona, who picked up a good win against the Saints this week, 34-0. Absolutely just beat the Saints like a drum. And then the Saints are in the 10th seed, and they're dying. They're dying. I have not played a whole lot of games, unfortunately, recently. It's been a lot of Sims for me recently. So Rusty does not begin to describe my lack of dedication to the game right now. So in the AFC, our number 1 seed, and kind of, I'm not really, a surprise. He's always been an aerial type of guy, but Coach Junior and the Los Angeles Superchargers. I've known Junior quite a while. I see Smashes like he was hoping for a high draft pick and make a playoff run. You need to start losing. You need to take my advice. Just be me. Suck. Chargers are the number 1 seed in the AFC for a reason. Justin Herbert, 277 of 398. Almost 4,000 yards compared to our NFC brethren who barely scraped 3,000. He's already at 4,000. Only 19 touchdowns to go with 11 interceptions, but a lot of yards to go around. In the run game, you have Austin Eckler, almost 700 yards and 12 touchdowns. Rashad Penny is his secondary workhorse back at 286 yards on 50 carries there. That's kind of a Junior attack, honestly, and all the time I've known him and the times we played together in other leagues, he's always been a very pass-happy guy. Now, normally that's because he's usually behind, so he has to pass to catch up. Right now, he's not behind. He's playing to win with his passing game, and it's working with Justin Herbert right now. Passing-wise, you have Mike Williams there sharing the catch lead with Hayden Hurst at 58 catches. Hayden Hurst leads the team in yardage with 885 yards and 5 touchdowns. Mike Williams right there, though, with 760 yards and 5 touchdowns. Decent spread out, though. You've got 48 catches for Keenan Allen, 41 for Cedric Wilson, and then out of the backfield, you got Austin Eckler getting 37 catches as well. So a nice spread attack out there for the Chargers. And then on defense, you have Drew Tranquill leading the way with 57 tackles. I see Derwin James here with 6 interceptions. Let's scroll down to the sacks. Bosa only with 5 sacks up from an outside linebacker position. Onyemata, guy I know well from the Saints, 4 sacks. Austin Johnson, 3 sacks. So not a ton of sacks, but I would imagine he's probably getting some pressure with Bosa and generating some turnovers here. Asante Samuel, 6 interceptions. You got Derwin James with 6 interceptions. Michael Davis with 4 interceptions. So not as many interceptions as we saw from the Giants or from the Commanders, but definitely making teams pay for mistakes, and that's always a big thing. Seeing a lot of safeties with a lot of picks in the back end. The safeties float very quickly in this game. It's hard to complete any deep passes and be confident in them. And Junior looks like he's making teams pay for making mistakes. He just won a game 41-21. He's playing a big game, though, Week 15 against the Chiefs, who are catching hot at the right time. They've got an owner that really has got them playing good ball right now, and I think Junior might have to keep the foot on the pedal to maintain that lead in the AFC West. Next up, we have the New England Patriots and Coach Remster. Mac Jones, 233 of 350, almost 3,000 yards. Already I can see the AFC is definitely a passing man's league. We have 2 teams that have busted 3,000 yards already, and of all the teams I looked at in the NFC, I don't think any of them had busted 3,000 yards. 21 touchdowns, 17 interceptions for Jones. Damian Harris, 152 carries, 744 yards, 8 touchdowns. James White, 75 carries, 346 yards, also 8 touchdowns. Nice balanced attack, likes to run the ball to set up a pass, it looks like. Jacoby Myers is his leading catcher. 51 catches, 770 yards, 6 touchdowns, but he's got 6 touchdowns to Chris Olave and also to Hunter Henry. So he's not afraid to throw it to the tight end or to his rookie wide receiver out of Ohio State. James White out of the backfield has 30 catches. Jonnu Smith, the other tight end, has 20 catches there. So a little bit top heavy, but I mean, he's using his weapons to their fullest extent. You can't complain about that at all in New England. And then defensively, Kyle Duggar leads the team in tackles with 45. Trey Flowers at corners got the second highest tackle load. That's always scary to see. Sacks wise, his leading sack artist here in New England is 4 sacks, so definitely not a team that gets a ton of pressure. Judon at left end, 3.5 sacks, probably the best pass rusher pound for pound on this squad. Barmore getting some solid push out of the interior, and not a lot of picks either. So you see J.C. Jackson has 3 interceptions, Kyle Duggar has 3 interceptions, but that's pretty much it for the Patriots. So it looks like they're a team that kind of looks like they want to play more high octane style of gameplay and do some ball control on offense with the run. So it's kind of an unusual mix, but it's working for him. He's got this team in the number 2 seed right now at 8-4, and then the number 3 seed we have Coach Juke and his Indianapolis Colts. Jameis Winston, 207 of 320 for 2,500 yards and 15 touchdowns, go with 12 interceptions. He took over probably about the quarter mark of the season when Coach Polio moved over to the Vikings, opening up his team, Juke's team, the Colts, which he quickly took on. And he definitely loves him some Jonathan Taylor, 246 carries, 1,246 yards, 19 touchdowns. It is all about stopping Jonathan Taylor, and not many teams have done that so far, it looks like. Then you have Melvin Gordon as the change of pace back, who's still got some life in the legs, 69 carries, 343 yards. On the receiving side, free agent Dalton Schultz, 49 catches, 681 yards. Michael Pittman Jr., Amari Cooper, Juju Smith-Schuster. That is a who's who of wide receivers there. Who do you cover if you're playing the Colts? Do you have that many corners and decent coverage safeties to cover all those weapons? I don't think so, and that kind of explains why the Colts have caught fire here as they go into the back end of the season. Defensively, Bobby Okereke leads the team in tackles with 55. Then you have Leonard with 44. Akeem Hicks and DeForest Buckner lead the team in sacks with 4 each. Decent spread of sacks going down, but it really is top heavy, with the top 5 being your main pass rushers. Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart getting some push. EJ Speed, an interesting pass rusher in there, getting 2 sacks. Kenny Moore, great football player. A little small for me as far as from the corner side, but a great football player. 6 interceptions to lead this team. Julian Blackman, great safety back there, 5 interceptions, and then it kind of drops off after that. Rocky Singh kind of disappointed with only 2 picks. So definitely not a team that picks it off much unless you pick on Kenny Moore or try and dump it over Julian Blackman. If you stay to the other sides of the field, you might have better success. Just don't throw it at Kenny Moore, Julian Blackman, and you have a chance against the Colts, but you got to stop the run, and Johnny Taylor has not been stopped much this season according to the stats. 4th seed is the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think I'm going to skip the stats from here on out just to kind of try and wrap this up a little quicker. Cincinnati in at 7-4, leading the AFC North. Then in the wild cards, you have Miami at 7-4-1. Them and the Chargers tied a couple of weeks ago. So they are comfortably in that wild card spot, but they could easily jump into the number 2 seed or number 3 seed, depending on how it works out as far as the tiebreakers and whatnot. But they could easily jump into a divisional lead and take the crown away from the Patriots with a couple of wins coming down the stretch. You have Denver at 7-5 in the AFC West. That's coming up hot. And then you have Pittsburgh in the AFC North at 7-5 with a chance to catch the Bengals as well. So, I mean, everybody's kind of within range here of catching and getting into the top 4 as far as 5, 6, and 7. It's not like it is in the AFC where the 5th seed is well back of the number 1 seed, and the number 6 seed will need some luck to get into the number 2 seed that Green Bay currently holds. Chicago has that spot. And the NFC South is wide open as far as the top 2. The Panthers and Saints are currently trying to figure out how to play Madden. I think we're both, at least I must be holding the controller backwards. But The AFC is a lot tighter of a race, and even the bubble teams. You've got Coach Webb there at 7-6 in the AFC North. You've got, I believe that's Blackhawk. Is that Blackhawk? That's the Texans. Oh man, I'm pretty sure it's Blackhawk. Yeah, with all the switching we did at the beginning of the year, it's hard to remember where guys are. But Blackhawk 7-6 there in Houston, and then Coach Tricky 6-7 in Buffalo. He's within striking distance of getting into the top end of the AFC East. So a lot of parity here in the AFC, whereas in the NFC it's a little bit more top heavy with your top two teams, and then the other teams kind of making up ground in the middle. So if I had to pick a team, pick a Super Bowl or pick a WFL Bowl like right now, based on what I see, I'd probably say I mean, it's hard to go against Washington, but I just it's hard for me to also go against Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Green Bay would come out of that playoff race. Sorry, Waffles. Carson Wentz versus Aaron Rodgers. I have a love affair with Aaron Rodgers in Madden, so I'd have to lean on Aaron Rodgers there and the Green Bay Packers to make it out of the NFC. And then the AFC, wow, it's. I would probably say of the AFC teams in the playoffs, give me a team that can run the ball, and it looks like Indianapolis can run the ball. So I would definitely go with the Colts. Not the strongest defense, but definitely a ball control team with Jonathan Taylor. If Jonathan Taylor stays healthy, that team will be a dangerous team to play in the playoffs for anybody. So that pretty much takes care of my playoff review. And that was pretty much all I was going to do tonight. Was going to just go a little bit more in depth than what I did before with the playoff review, as one of my cats in the background goes a little bit bonkers now. Hopefully he doesn't start any crap with anybody and wreck the live broadcast, but that's okay. So now I'm going to see if anybody's up here and wants to ask any questions. I'm open for questions if anybody is available and wants to ask me something to look up or wants to ask me a question about the league or whatever. I'll leave it open for a couple minutes and just kind of not necessarily have dead air, but I'll just see if anybody wants to go in for a chat. Any question? Well, if I type it in right, any questions for me tonight? Any questions? Let's see. Let me bring back up image capture here because I'm going to look at this while I wait. I'm going to do a little bit of admin. Let's see. I thought that's because that's going to bug me. Let's see. Give you a little peek behind the engine here as you can look and see what we have to do. Yeah, he's the 49ers owner. Why is he not showing up? See, that just bugs me now. Boom. All right. He's not showing up right there. That's weird. Okay. Well, I know he's there, so. All right. Who's leading the league in sacks? Ooh, good question. Let's see. Defense. Have I got it up right now? Yeah, I got it up. Okay. Yeah. I'll answer that real quick. Smash. Let's see. Who leads the league in sacks? What hell if I actually flip? The league leader is Aaron Donald with 16.5. My God. I wish I had a player who had half those sacks. Danielle Hunter in Minnesota, 14.5. Myles Garrett with 12. Brian Burns with 12. That's a good year out of Carolina. Nick Bosa with 9, and that kind of drops off after that. Aaron Donald, though, in this game is a beast. I will say that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, damn. 16.5 sacks is definitely damn. Yeah. But I know from having him in the other league I was playing in before we started WFL, I know Aaron Donald is a monster in Madden. I literally did nothing but just put Aaron Donald on the line in Indianapolis, and I think he had more sacks in 4 games than my entire team had the year before. So, yeah, he's ridiculous. He's a cheat code is what he is. Not that I'm accusing the Rams of cheating. I'm just saying Aaron Donald is a cheat code. But, yep, there's your leader in sacks. I'll tell you what, while I'm sitting here, let's look at the league leader in interceptions. And that looks like Xavier McKinney with 10. Micah Hyde with 9. The first cornerback on the board has 7. But 3 of your top 5 are safeties, whether free or strong safety. which kind of lends credence to the fact that Madden's back-end coverage is ridiculous reaction time. Let's see, what else can I look up here? Nobody really cares about tackles, right? But Fred Warner, 79 tackles. Pete Werner, 70 tackles. Woohoo! I lead. I'm top 5. Let's see. Bears versus Falcons. Big matchup this week. Who you got? Falcons. I like how Smash answers the Falcons. I closed up the wrong thing. Let me open that back up. Boop. Open up Neon Sports again. Well, I've played the Falcons here twice. And Studley has beat me both times. I've played Smash, and Smash and I have had good games in our other league we were in together, under different slider circumstances. I will say that both of them play a similar style of game. Ball control, run the ball, play good defense, force a mistake. Neither team gets really aggressive on defense. Tell you what, let me just show my face here. Neither team gets really aggressive on defense, so I don't see it being it's not going to be a scoring fest. I think it's going to be one of those games that first one to 20 wins. If a team makes it to 20, whether it's the Bears or the Falcons, that team's going to win. And I think, honestly, for my money, I'd probably put it on Atlanta just because if Smash can't cover Kyle Pitts, it's going to be a lost cause. It's going to be a tough long day for him because Kyle Pitts is a monster receiver. So if I had to say right now, I'd probably say Atlanta hits 20 points first, and I think Atlanta would win that game. It'd be a tight game, though. Yeah, Pitts is a problem. Absolutely. Pitts is definitely a monster that cannot – it's hard to contain him. You're not stopping it. You're just trying to contain it. Biggest surprise. It's really hard because there are a lot of teams. There's a lot of players I don't know all that well. So like we have a bunch. I know some players from previous leagues or from WFL 1.0. Biggest surprise though, I hate to sound cheesy, but I'd probably say the Washington Commanders. I mean, that roster. The front four is really good. But getting something out of Carson Wentz like what he's getting is impressive, and the defense has gotten a crap load of turnovers. Rookie wide receiver stats. That might be a little tougher to find, but let me see. Rookie wide receiver stats. Let's see. Position, wide receiver, seasons. Well, that's not going to help. Let's just close that. So, rookies. Oh, there's rookies only. Didn't realize they had that checkbox. All right, let's see. All right, let me bring this up so that way Smash can see this. Boop. All right, so rookies. Hopefully this is coming up right. This is yardage based. So it looks like Chris Olave's got the most here with 652. Then Jahan Dotson for Tennessee with 476. Jameson Williams 373. Although he's been a little rougher for me than I anticipated. I haven't really been able to have a lot of success with him, mainly because apparently all the rookies like to drop balls if they're anywhere within 2 yards of defender. So at least for me anyway. But that's because I suck. So that's par for the course. Let's see. Looks like Olave leads in touchdowns with Jalen Tolbert has 4. Let's see, catches. And this is just for wide receivers, so since that's what you asked for. Yeah, okay, so catches 30, so John Mechie the third. Okay, so it's pretty much organized pretty well. Rookie quarterback with Denver has been up and down. Well, let's take a look, see at Denver's rookie quarterback, if I can find Denver. Is that? Oh, that's Corral, isn't it? Matt Corral. I think that's who you drafted. Yeah, up and down. You got 21 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. I'd kill for that. I'd kill for that, man. That's not up and down. That's up. Here, let me show you up and down, or mostly down. Let's go to my team, the Saints. Yeah, 12 and 11. That's up and down. That's terrible. Taysom Hill, 2-4. Mike Keenum for a quarterback. Although Desmond Ritter in garbage time did pretty well. He didn't throw a pick, which is better than what I can say for everything else. I'm sad Willis got benched. Yeah, well, I mean, the Lions are CPU and they're trying to win. So who's their current starter? I guess. Let's see, depth chart. Jared Goff. Yeah. I mean, that's 6-1 half of that. Look at that group. That's wow. Why would you bench Willis? You might as well start. You might as well start him at that point. Sam Darnold, Jared Goff. I'd be starting Malik Willis, but I'm not the runner of the Lions. So, unfortunately, the computer is. So yeah, but somebody could always move to Detroit, or we could get a Detroit owner. I guess it's one other thing I can talk about real quick. I'll do a little mini state of the league. I wasn't going to do this for this episode or for any episode, but I just kind of want to show appreciation. This is going to be a WFL appreciation post. Let me see, edit. I want to make sure of something real quick. Because I think we're at 30 teams right now. Yeah, we're at 30. We're at 31 teams actually. We're one stop away from being full. I can turn off this right now. I don't need this browser up. We're 2 teams away from, or 1 team away from being full. I can't remember. Let me look. I'm pretty sure it's 2 teams away from being full because the Lions are open. Actually, that might be it. The Lions might be the only team open right now. Because we just picked up the 49ers after losing them. Yeah, that is a terrible quarterback room in Detroit. That's like a why aren't you starting the kid? I mean, you know what you're getting from everybody else. Let's see. Spreadsheets. No, not favorite teams. Teams open by division. Yeah, because 49ers is Nick M 2127. All right. So yeah, we have 31 teams. We have 31 owners. Although I swear when I looked at the app last, we had 30. So there might be an owner I have yet to see get kicked out. But I'll look at the app real quick. Sorry. I'm spitballing now. Let's see. Yeah, we have 30 members, so I'll have to look and see who's not here anymore to know who's open. Let's see. Okay, no. Yeah, I'll have to look because we're missing somebody. But anyway, we're at 30 teams, and I'll be frank. Starting as late as we did with a game as bad as Madden 22 is, let's be real, it's bad. To go from we started with 5. When we officially launched WFL, between the little bit of recruiting we had done internally, we were at 16 members, and really, truthfully, I didn't expect to get above 20. Especially, again, bad cycle, starting brand new. That's a tough sell. But thanks to some folks coming in that I'll go ahead and shout out on the podcast. Guys like Juke, Blackhawk, Rimster helping us out with some recruiting on Reddit and whatnot. But those guys coming in and recommending us to other folks and getting us to 31 or 30 or 31. I'll have to look and see. But basically 2 spots away from full with a game that's pretty bad. this late with no football going on, that's a pretty phenomenal thing. Sorry if I keep looking down. My cats are in crackhead mode right now, so I'm trying to make sure they don't knock over anything or knock over my stuff because they're just ripping and running right now. But to be at 30 teams is 30 owners, and we've got a couple of guys that have stepped aside that I've still got in the chat. That at least one of them will be here for Madden 23. That's actually pretty cool, to be honest. I'm kind of overwhelmed by that. Just I'm very happy. I don't sound like I am, but I'm very happy with where we're at as a league. So appreciate all the hard work everybody's put in to help get people in to get us to this point. It would be nice if before we ended. Also thanks to PS5 supplies, yeah. So, but I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now, and the game plan at this point, just to kind of, we only plan on playing at most one more season. So this season, and then one more, which hopefully, if we can keep up interest enough, will take us to about June-ish. And then at that point, we'll go ahead and we'll shut it down for this Madden cycle. We haven't talked yet about anything as far as how we're going to do Madden 23 team selections and things of that nature. That's something that when we get to the end of Madden 22, we'll kind of discuss that as a leadership team and then as a group. But I will say one thing. I will probably think hard about turning abilities off for next season, for the last season of Madden 22. We'll see. I kind of want to try a season with them and then a season without them and see where we sit. So it wouldn't necessarily be a permanent thing. Obviously, it'd be for the end of Madden 22. And it's not anything concrete yet, so it's not. We're just kind of in early stages of thinking about next season. But we may turn abilities off for next season. So just kind of be ready for that and be aware that that might happen. But it's no guarantee. So, but to end on a light note, to a happier note, thank you all for helping get us to 30 owners. Yeah, I see chat's popping. Yeah, got 7 or 8 people in there, so I definitely appreciate that. This has been the liveliest show of the 5 I've done so far. But we'll definitely, we might, like I said, we'll play around with it. We'll see where we're at, and hopefully Madden 23 will be a better product. Hopefully it'll be, we say it every year, but it never is. But we hope it's a better product. But we'll be here for Madden 23. We'll figure out how we're going to do team selection and things of that nature. And thank you guys for sticking it out, even though it's been a dreadful game. Franchise wasn't what it was promised to be, but we're used to that. We keep trucking, we keep playing, we keep fighting the good fight, you know. But that's enough rambling. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for joining the league. Thank you for giving us an opportunity as a kind of an upstart, pseudo upstart league to give us a shot and give us a chance and you know, be happy here. So I'm gonna go ahead and run to the outro now. Pretty simple. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching this. If you're watching this after the fact. If you're watching the recording of this, it's always appreciated if you give it a like, give the channel a subscribe, because there's tons of playlists and things of that nature. I'll probably go through as we get into the second season of Madden 22 and the second season of WFL 2.0. I'll probably go through and maybe refresh a couple of the rules videos to kind of, if we change any rules, I want to have the latest rules up to date on the video channel. So be sure you're watching those to kind of keep up to date with concepts we do, if you're unsure about how rule works, or like certain things like 50% rule for our signings and stuff like that, the videos are out there on our YouTube channel. Just check them out. Look for the playlist. They're easy to find. And give us a like and a subscribe, and give this a like and a subscribe, so that way we can kind of get out there in the Madden space. It is appreciated. It's always appreciated. Got to start somewhere, right? But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this. And tune in next time. We'll hopefully have a little bit more of a lockdown playoff preview, and I will also say that hopefully the podcast during the playoffs will maybe have some draft content as we prepare for the off season and for the next draft that's upcoming. Looking forward to the first draft show I've done in quite a while, so I'm really going to dig that. But until next week, until next Wednesday, guys, the corner is closed.